All right, everybody. Welcome back to another Monday Live. Well, as usual, let me know if we got good sound and whatnot of that. Get some housekeeping done here. Make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to be. Make sure everything is right. All right. I think the sound. I'm not sure. Have you paid your power bill? Let me get in here real quick. Hold on. There it is. Okay, we're good. We got sound. All right. Oh, found the right tab. Got my light in the way. Got a new light set up, so that's always in there. Got sound. All right. So, Roy, welcome back, man. How's it going? Stop trying to hide the CES. Have you paid your power bill? It's a little dark. Is it too dark? I can throw some more light up there. Let's see. Got sound. Okay, good deal. Yeah. So I was in CES last week. So last Monday I got there. Flew out last Monday and got to go see some cool stuff. So that's always fun. And the big one, of course, is that got to go to the Sony booth. Sony invited me out. You know, Sony flew me out there. Put me up for a couple nights to go out and see the live press release and see what was what. So that was a lot of fun, and a big thank you to Sony for doing that. Um, I'm kind of give it a couple minutes here to see if we get some filtered in traffic coming in. Sometimes it takes them a second to push these videos. Do a new window right there. Back here. There we go. All right, Sony do the best events. They did a pretty dang good job with that show. They they put on a first class performance every time. Of course, being a movie company, they uh, they don't really spare an expense with the gear they do to produce those live events. Unlike my little show here, they definitely got some equipment in the room. So that was cool to see, get around that equipment. But I want to talk a little bit more about the CES event. Maybe in a few minutes, give some people some chance to filter in if we're going to get many tonight. But want to give that an opportunity there. So, Roy, what's new in your neck of the woods? Do you wanna hop on? You got time tonight to hop on, or you want me to? I can shoot you the code if you want. Haven't looked at the alpha rumors lately. Figured we'll go see what's new in there. Let me go ahead and present this. You know what? Let me fix something real quick. I gotta fix my displays. Every time I disconnect my laptop, I have to rearrange my displays. That drives me crazy. Okay, now we're right. Close. Let's see if we can present this. All right, hop on, but my is next to me doing a babble me, no problem. Let's see. Get this presentation going. Share screen. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's real quick. Let's go through see what the latest in Sony news is, but the ads are just getting crazy here. Yeah, today's top deal of a deal day, which is, yeah, you're getting pretty close to being shut down on that one. We got the best 256 gig SD cards. The next batch of A12s will arrive in March only. So I got to not only hold the A1 and take a photograph with it, or the A1 Mark II. It also had the new f2 28 to 70 on it, and that thing is a tank of a lens. I mean, the thing is massive. So that was kind of a cool little experience to just quickly dabble with that for a minute. I gotta get this moved. I'd planned to be If I planned better, I'd be up in the studio instead. Yeah, no problem, Roy. No problem. It truly is amazing how much bigger that f2 2870 lens is, and how it's um, eh, yeah, I was blown away. I mean, and f2 is so good on it. Yeah, I think it's a I don't know if it's the same body. I got to play with the A1 last was it 20 the end of 23 last November, um at the last Sony event I was at, and I was really impressed with it. I really liked it. I definitely see myself someday getting one. Um, I find myself more and more in the market for wanting to replace my A7R2 with something more modern, and it's other than the price, of course, the A1 pricing, the original A1's coming down, which is a good thing. But the A12's got the flippy screen, and I'd much rather have that flippy screen, the flippy swivel tilt screen, call it that, that the A7R5 has. So I'd definitely be looking at A7R5 for price and in my budget. So much for mirrorless making everything smaller. Yeah, it's a chunk of a lens and a camera. I mean, compared to what I'm used to seeing, it's amazing how much how big they are, and even comparing it to like the older A7R2, um, they've gotten big, and they've out of necessity. I think they've had to do that, but they're backing a lot into it. Let's see what else we got here. Um, Sony will announce a new G lens in February. Now, this is that. I think it was another telephoto. I think that we looked at last time we were in here. Explorer's best premium bridge camera for the year. Still the old Sony CyberShot RX10 Mark IV. Yeah, that's a the camera's still a nice camera rig. Got a hell of a lens on it. It's got the 1 inch sensor in it, but it's definitely it looks like back ordered here on B&H. It looks like for $1,700, but it's got a lot to offer for what it is. But it's definitely showing its age now. Let's see, what is this? The video. The 3D printed grip extender and cooling grip from Daniel Oakleon. Interesting. Well, you can 3D print just about anything you want nowadays. Expensive for a bridge camera, yes. Yeah, without a doubt, it's definitely gets pricey up there for a bridge camera. You definitely, and for its age, they should at least dropped it for the age, I think. But the RX series cameras, the point and shoots, still a really good camera. I'd like to see the RX1 re-released as a full frame, fixed lens, but we'll see what they do with that one. Um, you know, I'll touch it on CES a little bit here. I got to. So, Sony was kind enough to invite me out, fly me, and put me up for a couple nights to attend their Sony live press release, and it was it was an experience to say the least. I mean, it was a very cool experience to sit there and hear everything live, see the people on stage. And I try to do my best to be prepared for it. And at the last minute, I planned on taking my whole camera and everything with me to go do it. And at the last minute, one of our reps was like, you're going to be standing. I would probably pack light because you're going to be standing for a while. Okay, so I just grabbed a small bag, and had my iPhone and my FX30 with the 16 pancake, which I'm currently on. And that's all I brought on the live event, not knowing that we would end up getting chairs and have spot for our bag. Uh, that would be, the ideal thing to do. Is I've had a little bit of a, my 24-105 on the FX30. I would have been able to get up on stage practically and get some good footage. Didn't do that, so I felt I was underprepared Monday night for what I was told, but it worked out. And then on Tuesday we had pretty much a free day because after the live event, we on Monday night we got to go out to dinner with a bunch of the Sony reps, including one of the executives out of Japan. And we got to talk their ears off about the product, about what we'd like to see. People on YouTube, you do hear them say, that Sony listens to the customers. Without a doubt, they are all ears on you when you're talking about what you'd like to see done in a product or what you'd like to see changed. Um, new product development, new products, what you'd like to see them bring out. They eat that stuff up. It's crazy, and it's not just like one person. It's everybody you meet in the Sony family that works for them. I mean, you start talking about that, and they're just like they're intently listening to you, and even at the point of taking notes on their cell phone to make sure that they don't forget or miss anything. So they do a really good job of listening to their customer base and finding out that kind of stuff. Now, I was invited personally, not through the YouTube channel. They know of my YouTube channel, and it's a very tight knit community over there at Sony. So they're definitely a good group of guys, and but they essentially they found me through my ownership of products, and which is extensive to say the least. And they hooked me up with that trip. Um, I'd like to see more YouTube opportunities develop with them in the future, and I think I need to grow my channel a little further for that to happen. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. I have so many more other commitments, more so than the channel right now, than I can do. So these lives are an easy thing for me to do. Today was a hectic day, a lot of driving for me today. But as soon as I got into the studio, I'm like, I better go live tonight. And I was like, I got 30 minutes to set it up. I'll do a quick setup, and I'm making it easier for me to set up too. So that makes it a little easier for me. I had to unpack the camera. I didn't unpack it from the trip last week, but got in there. Uh, but furthermore, back to CES, got to go into the. Oh, here I am talking to the big white screen. I'm sorry, guys. Let me remove that for a second. So, got to go into Tuesday, and actually, we just got a free day to explore all of CES. So, me and a couple other guys that were invited, we were hanging out, and we got to go. My hands are so big at 16 millimeter. Um, I got to go just experience CES for the most part. Speaking of size, so when I meet these guys in person for the first time, a lot of these guys you see online or on YouTube, um, the Sony reps I've talked to on like Zoom calls, I meet them and see them. They just always thought I'm a normal sized dudes, and I'm like they see me and I'm just towering over them all, quite massive actually. So they see me, and they're like, "Ah, you're a freaking giant." I'm like, yeah. Uh, but anyways, the they're like, yeah, you don't, you seem like a regular sized person at your desk. And I'm like, you should sit at my desk. So anyway, a little humor, but it was weird that effect it had on people when I would meet somebody I'd seen on YouTube before, and your mind like fills in the blanks, and it does it both ways. This is crazy. Why? So I've met some of the one of the gentlemen I met there. I've met before in person, and um, and then the rest of them I haven't met at all. I've only done Zoom calls, emails, or I've seen them on YouTube. So your mind kind of fills in the blanks with you, and you think, okay, this is what this person looks like, and of course we have focal length differences in the lenses. We can manipulate our body shape so many different ways, and we don't really think much of it. Your mind just puts it together that this is what this person looks like. So I recognize the individuals that I've seen on YouTube before easily enough, but you're like, wow, their physique and their body size is totally different than what you were expecting, and you're like, okay, yeah. Likewise with the person I've met in person. I've seen him on the YouTube channel, and it hadn't really dawned on me that he's the same guy I've met. And it wasn't until I saw him again in person, and I instantly, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, I recognized him instantly in person, but I didn't put that correlation together on YouTube. It was crazy. So it goes both ways with your mind, and it's a little weird that way until you actually know them, and you really learn who people are. Then of course you have a connection with somebody, just as we do in these lives. So I get that part of it, but it was an interesting experience to say the least. Um, got to meet a couple other creators from YouTube. Guys, real good guys that are involved with the Sony side of things. So that was a lot of fun. The the Tuesday free for all, though, we just we walked into the Sony booth, and so I go up to my one of my reps, and he's like, he goes, "Have you done The Last of Us yet?" I'm like, "No, we just walked in. We just got here." It's okay, cool. Yeah, let me get you to the front of the line, because there's a line of probably about, I don't know, 40, 60 people in line for this Last of Us experience. And that's, if you don't know what that is, it's it's a layman's simplest terms. You're walking into a live, real life video game. That's what it was. Um, but it's 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 in development. There's still a lot to work to be done, but it is quite impressive and immersive. So, anyways, he's like, "Yeah, we need to get you in line here." So they were standing there waiting, and they're like rearranging the whole line of people, and they're like, "Yeah, so we can get us the VIPs in easier." And then he takes us around. He goes, "Hey, these two VIPs go in next." And, well, okay, cool. So got to got to be paraded around in front of people a little bit, but anyways, we get up in front of the line and we wait our turn. We get it to go in, and they take you into a room, and there's the hallway room, 3.5 feet wide by 10 feet long. There's a gentleman in there with some props, and they give you a little card at the beginning saying, there will be swearing, there will be intense lights, intense action, just basically saying it's a high intensity environment you're going into. And And so we get our we're in there with this Japanese couple, or I'm assuming they're a couple. I don't know, but anyways, the guy and a girl were in there, and then me and the guy that I was hanging out with that day from Mr. Ben Liu. If you're around, check him out on Instagram at the Ben Liu. But he we were sitting there, and we were like, yeah, we'll both shoot, because we'll take the shotguns. And then they had flashlights, and the flashlights were just regular mag lights with some sensors on the end of the light. And then the shotguns we were holding were like a kind of some sort of, it looked like a carbon fiber or something tube with sensors on the end, and then a simple, like, what looked like a sawed-off shotgun butt with a little trigger on it. And my fingers were rather large, so I couldn't really get my finger in. So I ended up like holding the gun like this to use my pinky on the trigger. Kind of funky, but you had to like cock it, or cock the load the shotgun by sliding your hand up and down the tube. Anyways, he goes, okay. Uh, there's a gal in the room with you guys, and she's an actor, and she's this military type personnel. You guys, when she comes in to get you, she's going to be in full character, and it's go time. Okay, so just know she's acting, and that's what's going on. So shortly thereafter, this lady walks in, and I believe if you go on Sony's YouTube channel, there is a highlight reel of this. I don't know if I can play it. Um, I guess I could ask, and we'll play it if he says it's okay. I'll find out. I'll text him real quick. But let's see here. But anyways, I don't want to get too sidetracked with you guys. Um, I'll play. Hold on, let me just send this to him real quick. Okay, I'm asking live right now. Okay. Anyways, I don't want to get in trouble, but if he, see what he says if he gets back to me. Um, so you're in, you go into this room and it's very dark and you go in and the this military gal, she's very intense. She's like, all right, you guys, we got to go in and find out, where this team went and what they did and get um, what was it? Uh, yes, I can. Okay, cool. All right. Um, all right. So you go in and they give you this whole experience. So you're surrounded by these video screens all the way around you, and she's in full character. We walk into like we're going into this like subway station is where we're at, and it's a like a 4D dimension or 4D realm. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's a full immersive environment. The floor is haptic, so you feel. Uh, let's see. I'm just gonna tell them I'm live on. Yeah, let's see if he hops in and hits us up in the chat maybe. Um, but anyways, they hit you up. We're in this live room, and the the floor's haptic, so it's kind of like shakes at you, and then you've got um, atmospheric added to it. They can add in smoke, and then it's also the smell. So they got this. If you're familiar with The Last of Us, which I wasn't, sorry, but if you're familiar with The Last of Us, they have these what they call them clickers, the zombies that come in, and the clickers I guess have a really musty smell about it. I didn't pick up on the musty smell. I definitely smelled the smoke when this thing collapsed and the whole floor shakes, and then of course the 360 audio in there is also very that's the one thing I remember the most is how detailed that was. Um, it's dark and the person's holding the flashlight have to hold the flashlight and they're scanning the room and wherever they scan the room the flashlight looks like it lights up and you're seeing into the distance and it's haloed properly like it dims out as the further out it goes um, and then what do you call it the guns are supposed to be able to shoot at the targets well they're she's like, "Don't shoot. There's a we're here to get a target," and you can hear these things all over the place, and you're like looking because you're expecting something to happen. You don't know what's going to happen, and the flashlights will move to the sounds, and you'll see one, and then this military gal comes in. She's like, "Don't make any sound. Don't shoot unless I tell you." Very intensely with some language in there, um, and we get into the what do you call it the we get into a point where this thing's starting to attack. She's like, light them up, shoot. So we get the guns out, we start shooting at this thing, and the you're seeing the bullet, the hits on the creature, hit as you go, and then pretty soon you're overwhelmed, and it goes black, and it's like, okay, you're dead. Um, it was like almost a virtual reality, but like I said, you're in the actual room, and it was impressive for that. Now, like I said, they did say it was in their beta testing and all that, but it was a very cool experience. Let me see if I can find it real quick on. Let me see if I can find this here. I'll have to find that video real quick and I'll share it with you guys. It's on their YouTube channel. So let's go to YouTube. Let's see if they got some those shorts. If I can find it. Give me a second here. I know it's on there. I know it's on their channel. Let me find their channel. There we go. Sony. Shorts. There we go. All right, got it. Oh, pause. Okay. All right. Let me share this real quick. There's great. I don't know if this is going to work. Actually, let's see. It does work. Okay. All right. Here we go. I don't know if there's going to be audio. Honestly.
Any story. With the power of location-based entertainment, you can travel anywhere in the world and even experience scenes from iconic franchises like The Last of Us. At CES, we at Sony used cutting-edge tech like the crystal LED, Mimic controller, 360 reality audio, and even scent and atmospherics to thrust fans into the dark world created by Naughty Dog.
Everything felt real, like you were actually in this game. Is that what clickers really smell like?
This future immersive entertainment concept allows fans to see, hear, smell, and feel the stories closest to their hearts thanks to innovative tech that brings interactive scenes to life. We even dove into the world of Demon Slayer, allowing fans to picture themselves in the film's Infinity Castle. It's all part of our mission to help creators immerse fans into stories in incredible new ways. Because creators like you build the future of entertainment. Any place, anytime, any story. With the power of location-based entertainment, you can travel anywhere in the world and even experience scenes from iconic franchises like The Last of Us.
Yeah, so like it's pretty good depth on the room, and you can see the lighting was really good, and then of course there's 3-dimensional props on the floor around you also to give you some more added depth to the experience. At one point, there's this thing crashes down into the floor and it shakes it. You get a lot of smoke
at CES,
in the air.
we at Sony used
right here. You can see this bus thing crashes in the ground. Now, to me, in this video, it looks like the screens are curved, and I didn't get that. I didn't get that feeling from it in person. I thought they were flat. It very well could have been curved. So I'll have to ask if they are, because I don't know if they were in fact curved or not. But I'll dig into that one later. But the curved screens, I mean, if they were curved, you didn't notice it. And like I said, the screen definitely felt like it had 3 sides in it. But you got these railings and stuff in the bottom here, all 3-dimensional props in the space, and then of course the whole floor is haptic feedback. So
cutting-edge tech like the crystal LED, Mimic controller, 360 reality audio, and even scent and atmospherics to thrust fans into the dark.
There's that scene where that thing comes crashing down, and it gives a pretty good shake to it all.
Dark world created by Naughty Dog.
Everything felt real, like you were actually in this game.
And it really did. That was Antoine. If you don't know who he is, he's got a channel, New Stuff TV. I met him in Austin, but he like you said, everything felt real. It does feel fairly real when you're in it. I mean, you're in a video game, but it's a very immersive feeling. You feel like you could go down the room if you wanted to.
Is that what clickers really smell like?
This future immersive entertainment concept allows fans to see, hear, smell, and feel the stories closest to their hearts thanks to innovative tech that brings interactive scenes to life. We even dove into the world of Demon Slayer.
So, some interesting stuff there. Yeah, some cool stuff they had on that one. So that was The Last of Us. Let's go check out some comments here. Roy, I don't know if you're still here or not, but let's see here. Played with the A2, seems very similar to A1. I like it. Okay. So much for Miller's making everything smaller. Oh yeah, that we talked about that. Expensive for a British camera. Okay, we were here. We've been here. What about the A1? Except that I had so much trouble with the A7. Yeah, I get that. I think at this point in time, it's safe to say you're you're safe to go ahead and jump over and try it again. Of course, the A1's a very expensive camera to try on, I think, but and I've always wanted to get my hands on an original A7 just so I could see what it was like back in the early infancies. I mean, the A7R2 is phenomenal to me, and it's, of course, I'm not the professional you are, Roy, but you definitely have an experience, with it, I think. And I'm sorry you had that bad experience with that A7. I think it was just early on in that technology. Yeah. So speaking of LED screens and backgrounds on Unreal Engine, that's going to bring me into my next topic of the Sony booth, and that was the Pixel Akira booth. Yeah, still here. Okay, cool. Wasn't like the later series. No, it wasn't. It's definitely a different piece. So getting into Pixel Akira, let me see if I have some video I can share with you on that one. Probably. Let's see if I can pull it up. Oh, I need to plug my hard drive in. I can share my own video, no problem. Yeah, Pixel Akira has definitely plans with the LED screen, and there's a lot to discuss on it. And I'll share it with you guys here. Let's see. Get my hard drive booted up here. Let's see. Tuesday on that one. Oh, I've got a picture. Okay. I got a lot of different footage of it. Let me see if I can share the screen here again. This one, share. Okay, so this is the Pixel Akira platform, and it's a hydraulic platform that you can put a vehicle on. Let's see. I was just filming the platform. They were working on it here. So let's find another clip. Find one with the actual video of it rolling around. I think I shot that one on the iPhone. Okay, yeah, here's a shot of it off to the side. Okay, so there's a share screen on this one. No, there we go. Share. All right, so here it's a very, as I said, a very downscaled version of it, but they've got the video screen here on the side. Now this are these, I can't remember what they call them, the Sony screens that they have that will wrap all the way around a studio basically, so they can project any image onto them that create any environment for actors to work in front of. Yeah, so. Sorry for the shaky footage. I'm was near the end of the day. I was probably done. So it can independently roll all the wheels. You can see it kind of bumping along there. So it's got.
Stop that coughing.
Sorry about that. It's got that tilt bed at 6 degrees in any direction, and it'll tilt, and then also it can actually raise the wheels independently. It's got jacks on each wheel, so it can raise the wheel about 6 inches to give it suspension movement. What I thought was interesting about this system, there's the control in it. What I thought was interesting about Pixel Cure is how vast its control capabilities are. It's hard to get the vehicle, Roy says. Yeah. It so they have back on here quick. Oh, sorry. Find my mouse cursor in the right one. Seeing doubles. So Pixel Akira is the platform, and they can put any car, they can put any vehicle they want on it, plane, boat, whatever. I don't know if there's different attachments for different vehicles, because obviously you don't need the 4-wheel attachments if you put a boat on it. So, but things fully modular based, I guess, for what they can do with it and add and strap things down. But they said that anytime Sony goes on shooting locations, that they LiDAR scan the environment, so they can represent these environments into these screens and have a map and data of it. They can also map and data the roads in the environment, so they can have these roads that this Jeep could drive down using Pixel Akira and have it, traverse the road in real time, with the actors going on it, and it's all repeatable. So this thing's designed to be in a much larger screen room with overhead boom cranes that are robotic, so that they can duplicate shots over and over again, exactly the same way they want them. And then to take it a step further, let me see. I've got the video of this one. There is right here. Share this one. So they've got a simulator, basically a driving rig simulator that's on a whole deal, sitting here attached to it. And what they can do, so like this is the view out the Jeep would be seeing, and we got some bumps up ahead. And they can put a driver in here and drive this Jeep down these bumps at whatever speed. They can drive, any road they have mapped. Essentially, they can send the driver to go drive it. And like they use the example of skidding to a stop at a cliff edge or something. And once a stunt driver does that drive and gets it exactly how they want, they can just load it into Pixel Akira, and it'll duplicate what he drove in the manner he drove it, so that the car's actions and movements are real. Therefore, the actors don't have to sit there and bob around like they're on a bumpy road. They can just do their job and act with the natural motion of the car. That's the part of it I thought was the most fascinating, was that the fact that they have these roads mapped, and then they can go drive them in the simulator. And you go, you know what? I'd like to do it faster. Can you drive it up faster? And then the stunt driver could go in, drive it again, go faster to get up to speed, and have it record what he does to get it up to speed and up to that faster time, and then put it into Pixel Cure and have it reproduced. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of what do you call it? A capability there that I think is in its early infancies of what this can do, and I think we're going to start seeing it more and more. This definitely was a piece of the highlight for me. Like I said, I have a hydraulic background, so and a mechanical background. This to me was most fascinating. Looking at it, seeing the actual hydraulics that run it. Obviously, I understand that a little bit more than most would probably, but I found that to be fairly interesting. And they can once they go do a shoot somewhere, they have that data forever, and then they can go back and use that scene again, or that footage again of that area, without having to go back on location. You could take a whole film crew back to that location without essentially sending them there. That should save the movie makers lots of money. Yeah, I mean it will, because it's not only the travel expense of getting a crew there, the safety expense of the actors, and having to do stunts or having a stunt driver do the stunt in the car, so they're probably still going to film the car doing it, but they have the ways of doing that, I think. Um, but they would have all of that ability just to go back to it and redo it, or reshoot it, or have just the people necessary to run that system come in. So yeah, I think it's a feature technology that's going to further expand, obviously, quite a lot, and I'd like to see what else is using it, because it was definitely cool to see it. There's only 4 of them in existence right now, so definitely if you're interested in how they make movies and how what they're doing, that was definitely this is definitely a showpiece of the booth at Sony there. That was pretty cool. The next spot they had was these. I'm gonna get this wrong. Zen, XYN, was a 3-dimensional mapping app, and I recorded something of it. Let me have it here. And my audio's messed up, so I won't play it. I'll just scan it. But this, let's see if he pans over to it at all. No, we stayed on me. With this new app, you can use any mirrorless camera. I say any. I don't know if it's just Sony. I'm assuming it is right now, but attach your smartphone to it, and you can use your iPhone, tether it to the camera, and in the app you go in and take any 3-dimensional object. Okay, so take my Sony mug they were kind enough to give me. You take a picture of it from all angles, around, up, down, whatnot, around it, until it's fully mapped. The app software then correlates that image into a 3D rendering, and you have essentially a 3D copy, a virtual 3D copy of that coffee mug that you can, take this coffee mug and you can go place it in any virtual environment. And once it's scanned and mapped, you don't have to do it again. It's a full 3D scan of it. So, video game application. We wanted to put some bookshelves over here, put some stuff on the shelves. You don't need to draw out books or anything. You just take those files you got and stuff that's scanned, place it on the environment there. If you're in a virtual reality, you could literally, go to it and pick it up and hold it and look at it and see what this thing is, what it looks like. One of the technologies there that I'm told was a Sony technology, and I don't know if it's expanded or not, but these 3-dimensional monitors. If you're familiar with some of the earlier lines of obviously the HD TVs and stuff, when they start coming out, they start having 3D glasses you'd wear to watch 3D movies. Well, they've taken that step back to just the screen, and I think last year, I don't know the time. I was asking more about the screen than I was the Zen kind of to the gal there, but the screens are a 3-dimensional monitor, and while it's just a flat, looks like a 27-inch screen or 32-inch screen, it had a lot of depth to it. And what it does, it has a camera that tracks both of your eyes, and it would take in the image they already rendered out of this like geode and putting it on the screen. And you can see this, just standing there, look at the screen. It's literally floating in space in 3 dimensions, and you can do this to it. You can look around the object and see, wow, you can see the side details of it, and you get up and around and look underneath it or whatever. You can see all that, and that was pretty crazy to see. I don't know, hopefully my sound's still good. That's pretty crazy to see that that change on the screen, because it's all 3D rendered. So what it's doing is the camera's tracking your eye, and this is where the screen has obviously a downside, is that it only works for one person at a time. So if anybody's watching the screen from the side, it just looks like a really fuzzy image of the screen. But It's literally flashing left and right screens at you at the same time at a certain high frequency rate to develop a three-dimensional image. And I would say it had about an 18-inch depth ratio. I mean, what looked like it could do. From what I was dealing with and looking at, like you could go in 9 inches, come out 9 inches from the screen. And it was crazy that, you could sit there and have an image of this geode on the screen and then just look around it and it's all right there. And the screen's, of course, it's adjusting its angle to your eyeball and where it's at to track it all in real time. And it was impressive. Um, the the you could definitely trip it up if you like move your head really quick. It would like take it a split second to re-render, and you'd see a real glitchiness on the screen. But you could track it and do that. But that technology goes into the step of be able to monitor and experience these 3D dimensional drawings and make sure they look good, and then they could just save all this stuff and put them into a digital file base. And when they want to make a movie or add a three-dimensional rendering or something, they just set it in there. I mean, you can't believe anything that's out there anymore. So definitely, it was interesting for that. Um, call it photogrammetry. Yeah, kind of. I don't know if was that a thing early on or something else. But yeah, I mean, that app takes an image of it, tells you where to go, and it maps it all out, puts it all together. So definitely a lot of cool stuff there. Walking around CES was quite the experience. So about 4 or 5 years ago, and this is what's crazy. Sony had no products there on display other than they had three PS5s playing Lego New Horizons, which came out in November for Christmas release. Um, but they had some new Lego sets there also. But they had no new products or Sony products you could go see there, and that's what I think was the downside to CES for me. Was I was hoping to see more physical products that I don't get to see all the time, and that was one thing I didn't get to experience. Um, the for Sony as a company, their new business model is more proactive. I was talking to one rep. They announced on their press release this year that Sony signed as the official NFL technology partner. So they're providing, I'm guessing all the cameras and equipment to film at all the stadiums, but they're also providing the newly developed and designed headset, for the coaches and players to wear and be able to communicate on the field. Um, so that is something that's all in the works. But all that stemmed from one individual from the NFL walking into their booth last year and speaking to somebody, and it turned into this, crazy deal they have. So that is, an interesting aspect of what they're doing. And basically, you're walking around CES. There's all these higher ups of all these companies coming in, seeing what other technologies, other brands are doing, and it's the beginning of a working deal to develop that relationship with other higher ups in the company, and that's what CES is turning into. Now there were booths with physical stuff there to see. Um, but it was interesting to see that's where Sony's at with it, and they've been doing that for that way for a few years now. Everybody thought they were crazy, but they had really good success with it, so they've continued it. And now other brands are also following suit. Right, so right next to the Sony booth was the Afila booth, the Afila car. I didn't really cover too much on the car side of it. It's something I'm not going to be interested in personally, but that's their electric car with all the Sony technology in it, PlayStation 5s and all the new sensors and around it. It's technologically very advanced, but it's they actually announced it for release, so it's been a few years in the making. We've seen this Afila car, but that was one thing that they've got, and they've announced you can pre-order it now if you live in California. Um, but right next to the Fila booth was the Nikon booth, and the Nikon booth was all closed off. You had to wait in line to get in, and I waited. I waited to the end of the day because it was crazy in the morning. I mean, all these lines were massive, and I was like, I'm just going to come back when it's probably less. And sure enough, it was. So I got right in. Then you walk in, you watch a short little 3-minute clip about Nikon history, that kind of stuff, and then you go into the booth. Now you would think again, cameras, lenses, all that. Not a single one on display at Nikon. What does Nikon have to offer other than cameras and lenses? I mean, that was the crazy thing about it. So, but it's optics that they were showcasing, optics and robotics. They had a little robot there that could pick something up, move it from one spot back to its original space, and you could go and move that product anywhere on the bench, and it would find it, pick it back up, put it back in the original space. So they're giving robots visions. They had some airliner vision technology that they were showcasing. I didn't stick around a whole lot in any of the booths because they were covering so much in just one day that I was there. I didn't really deep dive into what they were offering, but I was surprised. Nikon didn't have anything on here. Now they had some of their cameras in there doing work, but they weren't there on display, so you could see them, but they were all working. But It's here to comment. So, it's photogrammetry is scanning 3D objects into models for the computer. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So yeah, that's what they were doing. That van with the personal drone in the back looks interesting. I saw that. Got some video of it. That is very cool. I'll touch back on that in a second. And then we got Nikon marketing has always been crappy. Yeah. So Sony won the marketing. Okay, Roy. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for stopping in, man. I appreciate it. Um, Sony Sony won in the marketing side of it here because they had the badge lanyards. Lanyard here. They if you saw anybody wearing a CES badge, it had this lanyard uh, on it. So Sony had the lanyard uh, sponsorship on that one. So yeah, that was my CES badge, and then hey, good evening, Matthew. How you doing? Roy, you got to go. No problem, bud. But everybody had these on. Now, if you were in the Nikon booth, if you worked there, they had Nikon ones, and then Panasonic's booth had their own Panasonic lanyards. Samsung had their own. So all the major players all had their own little lanyards for their team for their brand, which is understandable. But Nikon definitely won the bag side of it, and I brought something for all my Nikon followers. I got you a gift. I got you this Nikon carry bag. Uh, these were being handed out by the hundreds, and everywhere you looked, you saw Nikon carry bags for all your swag. Now, I didn't end up with much swag. I got two things. I got this bag, and I got um, a lanyard for Cerwin Vega. That's what I got. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, so I can say I brought my Nikon back with you in my bag because I brought the Nikon bag back. So there you go, guys. Um, but yeah, let's see here. Let's go to the next comment. Matthew, what do you got? Did you see the Nintendo lawyers go to the one gaming accessory booth for showing off Switch 2 stuff? No, I did not. So there was a gaming booth there, and I had a big Atari sign, and I didn't go over there because first I thought it was excuse me, thought it was the Atari booth. And then I walked over. I'm like, oh, it's not Atari. It's just like some random game stuff. So I walked away. And and then on other videos I've seen of people that have showcased it, I realized, oh, it's actually an Atari handheld they're showcasing there. So it might be that gaming accessory booth you're talking about. So they showed up with a Switch 2 before it was announced. I guess that's it's a little crazy because I didn't catch any of that wind. Um, Roy mentioned the van with the personal drone in the back. Yeah, so they had this big giant drone, 6 rotors, could fly on 4 of them, 2-seater, and then it landed. It all folds up, and then it goes back in the back of this van with 6 wheels. It was pretty crazy looking. I need one of those robot lawnmowers I've seen videos of. Yep, saw those there. They were a bunch of different brands. I saw a couple different ones of those rolling around on their little fake turf grasses mowing. Um, and they've been out for a long time, but I didn't stick around for those too much. Like I said, we did a quick walkthrough. Um, we saw the Segway section. They had a nice looking little dirt bike there, so we got to got to mess with, or not mess with it, but got to see it. It was kind of cool looking, kind of half-assed on the backside. It definitely had some issues for being a dirt biker, but oh man, the most out of the world thing you saw. This is where I failed you guys at CES, is that I didn't get to go into like every booth or go in to see what was absolutely crazy going on, and it was more about what was just catching my eye walking around. Nothing really jumped out to me and said, "Holy cow, look at that! That's cool." Um, just because I think most of it we've seen before, and we've seen it, somewhere online or something like that. The robotic dogs, we saw that before. I was really hoping to see like a humanoid droid or an android or not an android, robot there that could walk. I didn't get to see that. I didn't know if somebody had one there. Um, After the end of the second day, walking out, we realized we missed the entire outside section. International Scout or just Scout had their new electric trucks there. I would have liked to have seen those. I didn't get to see those because I was only there for Tuesday during the event, and I had to fly home Wednesday. So I missed that one, and I think there was a whole nother entrance area because I never saw the main entrance because we always came in the back way into the Sony booth, and so I think there was a whole nother room we totally missed and bypassed, and I don't know what was in that room, but I never saw anything. Uh, the one booth that we did find that although I saw Cern Vega. Went in their booth. They had some really trick speakers that you could daisy chain together wirelessly off of a master and have up to 99 slaves. Thought that was really trick. And then they had some new amps and receiver stuff there for home theater stuff. I would say, okay, the one thing that really stood out the most that I saw, and it's nothing new, everybody's seen one, maybe not in person, was we came around a corner and there's this freaking Bugatti sitting there, a Bugatti Veyron sitting on a display in a corner. Nobody manning the booth, just the Bugatti sitting there with a bunch of Bugatti scooters around. And the scooters were everywhere in CES. Like, not people riding them, but like people having this technology on display with electric scooters, electric bicycles, electric, little city scoots or whatever you want to call them. They were everywhere, and Bugatti's got their own. So I've got a picture or some video of the little Bugatti scooter sitting next to this big Veyron sitting there. So that was kind of out of this world to see at CES. To see a Veyron, I hadn't seen one of them in person before, but nothing jumped out. Like the one thing I would say, let's see if I got the video of it. I know I do. I'll share it with you guys. Is and it's nothing new. I know this technology's been around for forever. And let me show it to you. As soon as I find it. Oh, come on. Come on, where are you at? I think this is it, I think. Let's see. No, that's Panasonic booth. And Panasonic booth was a very large booth. We didn't get to go into later in the day, and I was actually surprised it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. I guess. Again, no real new products. Okay, here it is. So this is this one. All right, so you've probably seen these things before. Present, share screen, window. This one, share. Okay. I just shared some kind of flying car thing, but it looked like a mini helicopter to me. I saw her there walking around. She had this whole entourage. I think she was filming for actually CES there in person. But yeah, I saw this gal walk by in a bright pink suit. I'm like, hey, who the hell was that? She had some guy holding a big giant camera behind her, tethered to a sound guy behind him, walking all crazy, in through there. But she was there. I did see some of her videos pop up, searching for CES stuff, see who else was there. Maybe if I saw somebody, but I didn't. I The guy I was walking around with, he noticed iPhone. He was there at the Sony Live press of release right there near us. But I haven't ever followed that guy. I've got video of the I should have video of the flying car or the car that goes into the back of the van. That's what we were mentioning earlier. I need you to show that breakdown of the intro to your TV video. That was pretty cool. Oh, we can go through that tonight. That'd be cool. We can definitely do that. All right, so this is the small displays. They had them everywhere, but these parrots, and they're flying. And I was like, what the hell? It's nothing new. This is the LED trick technology. I think Disneyland kind of, seen it there. But check out this big one they had. Let me close this. And of course, I'll film for vertical video too. So that's one other thing you got to think about. When I show you this, it's going to be sideways, because I'm not going to sit there and try to figure it out for you right now. So you can see this, it's like almost three-dimensional walking. Get around to the front a bit more. Here's like the red dress walking. Okay, kind of digitized. You can kind of see let me just play it. So there's real time. So this was like, to me, was kind of my mind blown, like, wow, kind of like holographic almost in a sense. And it's just these fans, or not even fans, these LED blades spinning super fast, and there's a whole grid of them all notched together, and they're creating this imaging on it. I mean, just that was unreal to me, that they could put so much together on it in such detail, motion it, and you can see it really spinning there. You can see them on the camera. In person, you don't notice them spinning so much. The camera definitely picks up on it. There's some shoddy camera work for you again, trying to get closer to it. Yeah, you can see as soon as I go to the side of it, you can't see it. There it is. It's on, and then you get to the back side, there's no image at all. So that was kind of a cool technology. I don't know who was making that stuff, but I thought that was kind of cool. And it's nothing new, but it was a pretty cool interface they had with it all. It's insane. Yeah, that was pretty cool stuff. Let me see if I can find the footage of that car. Yeah, once we got to the backside where here's the shot of, let's see if, I don't even know if I got her. Share screen, window. Because I was like, I didn't even know who it was at first. I was like, who's that person? Yeah. That was I just did, and then get the camera guy and the sound guy following. I was like, I'm kind of interested in that. I don't follow her, so I wouldn't have picked up on who it was, but that's who it was. I found out afterward. So, let's see here. Close the window. There's the Veyron. Share. Yeah, I filmed for some vertical video content if I ever get around to it. Try to get to the scooters. But yeah, Bugatti makes scooters. So I thought that was kind of cool. Let's see. Do I have? See, I was swapping between my camera and my phone. I don't see it. I don't know. Did you see the? I didn't see DJI there. Matthew's asking, was DJI there? If they were, I did not see their booth. and it was crazy. Even crazier is of all the booths I was walking around, I saw almost no camera related booths at all, or filming type booths at all. And the only booth we found, and we had found it on the map and had to go find it, was Tilta and Nanlite were sharing a booth, and they're both out of the same area in California, I guess. But they shared a booth, and so Nanlite was there with their new RC series of lights, which are their more economical plastic housings, about half the price of the big ones. I was impressed by them because it's right up my alley for budget friendliness. And they had then the Tilta was there with a bunch of cages on like FX6, the red. They had a Black Magic, the Pro with the big screen on the side. I can't remember which one it is, but they had all those set up in their rigs. But what was really cool about those is they had the Atlas glass on them, and this is it. Yes, this is they. Oh, they were showcasing their new um, iPhone cages, which are pretty cool. Definitely cool on that regard. Let's see here. Yeah. I'll share this one with you guys real quick. So share screen, window. Yeah. So here's the 27 millimeter Atlas anamorphic lenses on these things. They had the whole trio there. Uh, pretty pretty cool stuff. Um, but that Delta had. So there's an FX6 with one on it, 72 millimeter. I was surprised just how good the monitor looked, and there with that on it. But that was literally the only booth we found with camera gear in it. Hey, the Happy Clown, good to see you again. Styling scooter, yeah. There was, if you like scooters, that was definitely a place to go. There was the whole back room was just full of nothing but new electric mobility technology, and a lot of AI technology. A lot of computer companies were there showcasing servers and whatnot. And um, I did not get anywhere with any of those because one, I don't know enough about. I don't have a really huge interest in that stuff. But you go into these massive booths and they're just wall displays of just words and some basic pictures and talking about it. So it was like something. It wasn't really like catching your eye. There was nothing tangible to see there. It's all just a lot of software and whatnot to get together to try to figure out this AI stuff. Did you connect with any potential partners for the channel? Yes, I did. So if you missed the first part of this live, Sony flew me out to CES and put me up for a couple nights to attend their live press release in person, and also give me a day to just explore CES. Um, the live press event was covered by the group of so I'm part of this Sony Advocate program, and it's like a VIP program. They found me personally through my purchase history and my registration of owner projects, not through the channel. But the Sony group is a very tight knit group, and they know everybody within it. Of the Sony employees and the family. So all these little divisions of Sony that have different responsibilities all know each other, and they know who I am now. That's an easy one to say. Is that basically I'm definitely, I have my foot in the door. They know me. Like earlier in the live, I asked if I could share. I reached out to my rep to just ask him, hey, can I share this video from you guys' Sony channel to the audience? So he said, yeah, of course. So though we watched the Last of Us demo that I talked about earlier in the live, uh, from their channel. But so I have that connection with them, and it was cool because I got to contact him right here live on the live, and he responded right away. So that was cool. Thank you very much. If you're on, because I think he asked if he could come in, or he asked what the channel was. I told him what it was. But as far as uh, they had they had the six of us there. So the six of us are all pretty much some sort of content creation background. Some of us are just there's the six of us. They're all. I didn't get to hang out with everybody, but one name you might know from YouTube, the Sony technology enthusiast. He was there, and he allowed to see a lot of his videos popping up on CES. Got to hang out all day Monday with him, and it was a really good time. Got to get to know the guy, and see where his channel's at. We got to talk a little bit more about YouTube and just have that connection with somebody else doing it at a similar level of doing YouTube. So that was a really good connection. We'll be definitely in touch in the future. If, can get a hold of him. So definitely cool to see the and meet him. And that's the Sony technology enthusiast. And then there's at the Ben Liu on Instagram. He is a documentary filmmaker, and he deals with a lot of Sony cameras and equipment, but he travels a lot throughout the year around the country. Pretty much me and him walked around all day on Tuesday just looking at booths, and helped him film. He filmed me a couple times, just to get things, try to get things working together. But didn't do any collaboration type work over there. But I think imagine in the near future you'll see something from something that was developed from that. Uh, Heck, man, he's made it the big time, sponsored by Sony. That deserves a congratulations. Well, thank you. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was sponsored, but the trip was definitely sponsored by Sony. Um, like I said, they put me up, got me out there, and we had a good time. Got to go to dinner with a bunch of the Sony brass, including one of the execs from Japan. Monday night. That was just awesome. Good time there. Got to just basically talk shop about their Sony products and the gear, what we'd like to see, what I'd like to see done. And it's in the spot you just draw a blank. It's so much of it, but there's so much I can give them and share that input. So if you guys have any input that you'd like me to pass along to them, I'd be more than happy to do that. You can email me through the YouTube channel, hit me up in these comments or lives, and we can connect that way. And I will pass whatever you give me along right to them. Say, hey, somebody on my channel said they'd like to see this, and one of the things I told the exec out of Japan. I don't even know if I should say his name. I guess I just won't. But he's in my last video. If you saw my CES highlight video, he's briefly in that. But anyway, really good guy. Good to talk with, and they all drill down when you're talking about their product and what they've got to offer. They are all so intently listening to what their consumers are saying and wanting to know feedback and real life data from us. And it's amazing how intense their hearing and focus is when you're talking about their product and what you'd like to see done. So definitely, if you have anything, just let me know. I'll pass it right along to them. And likewise, I've got a whole email I'm preparing to send them just stuff that I think about over and over again. Like, I got this and that. So I'm going to be sending that out here shortly. So if you guys have anything you want to add, problems with your gear, anything, let me know. And Sony's always available, and I'll let you know that the Sony After Hour Support live channel does go live once a month. I think it's once a month now. They go live weekly on Wednesdays at I think 1 p.m. Central, where they do a live show, kind of like not full on live like they do the once a month where they go into their studio and do it, but they do it from home. But we got to meet those guys that are on that live, and Derek and Larry. They're really good guys, and meeting them in person was a great time. But they had they are there to help any way you can. So if you ever have problems or problems with your products, make sure you're checking that channel out. I mean, I don't know if any other manufacturers that have this kind of support. Maybe they do, but there's a lot of avenues of support from Sony, and they'll even do one-on-one consultations with you on their products if you're thinking about buying something. They'll be happy to help out. Let's see. That says, nice. Glad Sony's looking out for you. Yeah, It's definitely a foot in the door situation for me. I've got it in there, and I have easy contact with some of these guys now, so it's nice to see that all happening. Interchangeable lens, 1-inch camera arcs and style would be sweet. Everything keeps getting bigger. I'd like smaller for travel. That's a good suggestion. I'll definitely pass it along. Um, the RX style cameras with that sensor, I would like to see an upgrade to that sensor. I'll throw that in there because personally, I love that little point and shoot factor. Um, I would like to see the RX1R interchangeable lens. That would be sweet, I think, because then you got a full frame sensor in that body of the RX, and that's something I think would be easier said than done because they don't have to develop lenses for it. But APS-C is, obviously they've grown a little bit. They're not as small as the RX style, but if you think about it, APS-C A6000, the 6000 series, 6100 now, the 6400 are incredibly small little cameras still. Maybe not fully pocketable like an RX camera. They can be depending on what you're carrying and what lenses. But if you're talking about RX 100 putting lenses on it, you're going to start carrying quite a bit more. But I agree, smaller is key. Me and Roy were talking earlier today, and it just we mentioned, hey, the cameras are just getting bigger, even though they started out small. The A1, A1 II. So definitely they're going that direction where they're getting larger and larger. But I'll be happy to pass that along. Thank you for that, and we'll put that there. Let's see, what else can I say about CES? Any other questions for me? Does anybody want to join in live? Let me know if you want to join in live. I'll be happy to shoot you the link, and we can talk live and face to face if you like. Let's see here. Let's see what else. Anything popping up? So Pixel Cure, I don't know if you guys caught that one in an earlier part of the show. Let me show you that real quick again. This is this isn't the best angle. This is like when I first saw it running again, and every time I went to go record it, it was off. So I ended up camping it to wait for it. Sorry for the shaky footage. I was handheld all day, and yeah, see, I caught it at the end of the show there. It's this hydraulic table that they put cars on, and it'll rotate, tilt, independently control each wheel up and down. It can roll all the wheels. It's pretty incredible. So they're putting those on in those big screen sets with robotic cameras to do multiple angle shots or multi take shots all identically, and they can take that Pixel Cura and input that data from LiDAR scans and filming of real locations Sony goes to. They document all that stuff kind of behind the scenes. So not just they're filming the movie, they're documenting the whole landscape, and they can load a road into that Pixel Cura and it can drive down that road. They could put a stunt driver in a simulator and take the simulator down the road as fast as they can and hit a button, and it goes into Pixel Cura, and it'll make that car on the lift or whatever on Pixel Cura do whatever the simulator stunt driver man did. It'll move that car down the road. So interesting technology to say the least. That was pretty cool. Let's see. Saw some Vios. If you're a Sony fan from back in the computer days, they had a Vio stand there. Let's see if I can find something of some interest here for you guys. I walked around with the intention. Oh, here's your drone car. There you go. Let me share this one to you. All right, so there's the 6-rotor drone, the van. I don't know if I got video of it, but it's right here off to the right. The 6 wheels, so that thing packs into the back of the van, and you drive it around to your location, and boom, you've got your little personal drone for 2-seater to go up in the air. So, and there's the van over there. I saw a lot of guys carrying gimbals around all day, and I didn't pack mine. I didn't take it. I thought, man, I should probably take my gimbal just to walk around. I know I can do it, but I was like, I'm not going to. And so I don't know who was here earlier, but I went into the live press release with information that we're going to be standing, pack light, take it easy. Okay, so I didn't bring my camera, my whole bag. I took my whole bag with me. I did not bring a tripod. I just brought my little handheld PNG Wide Tech Mantis pod, and I figured that'll work for me just fine. I did use that to facilitate filming with the FX30, but I had just my wireless mics with me, and I carried my bag around all day Tuesday. I had the 24 millimeter on the FX30 most of the day. I don't think I ever changed it out. If I did, it was right at the end of the day. I can't remember, but had the mics on it, and that was pretty much it. It worked well. The footage that I've got that was usable is good. But it was a lot of walking, carrying the backpack around that was definitely oversized. I brought my laptop just in case I needed to edit or do something, which I ended up doing once. But the bag weighed a lot, and I brought my bigger uh, airport series bag to travel with this time, which I'd never traveled with it, and solely as my only camera bag. So that's the first time I actually packed it all down into that bag. Had all my anamorphic lenses. I had all my Sony lenses. I did leave the 85 back at the hotel when I went to CES, so I wouldn't have to carry that weight. That's one area I did trim down. Um, I tried to be smart about what I took. I didn't record nearly as much as I should have. I didn't record enough talking points or talking to the camera stuff, which I could have done. It was a live and learn lesson, and I and me and the Sony technology enthusiast actually had this conversation before we got to TCS, because he had gone last year and did this event we were doing the year prior, so he kind of knew it was happening. I came into it kind of just like, I'm gonna just experience it, how it goes. I didn't watch any videos about first time CES, what to expect, what to do. I went in totally blind, and kind of did that purposely full so that way I can have my own experience without any influence from others on it. I got a lot to say about it. I think I'm going to make a whole video about first time CES. Is it worth doing on my channel? I don't know, but figured I'd try that one out. But I learned a lot about what to carry, what not to carry, and I didn't know the food situation. I know that now. I know a lot more about what's happening there at the building, the facility, and what to expect. So I'm more prepared. If I should go again, I'll have something else to say on most of the things, and I'll have a better plan of what I'm going to do. Definitely helps having a buddy to walk around with, because it's so crowded and chaotic. You wouldn't. I don't think you'd have one bit of a problem setting up a tripod in the corner somewhere and talking to it or even being away from it without somebody messing with it. I don't think you have any problem with that, because that's all over the place. Some of the camera rigs walking around that place were just insane. And I'm sitting on this with my little FX30, my 24 millimeter G Master, and my little Sony mic on top. And there's full on FX6 rigs. I saw one FX9 rig. A bunch of Canon the EOS, the bigger Cinema 3. I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but had a bunch of them running around. I will say, out of everything running around, Sony was definitely heavier than anybody else. Like, of all the product I saw floating around CES that people carry, and I saw more camera gear being carried than it was on display, I would say it's at least 75 to 80% of it was Sony. Hands down. I mean, it was everywhere. So a lot of people carrying big heavy rigs around. I'm like, man, there's no way. But if you were there for 4 days and didn't have to cram a whole day of exploration into it, where you could really get down and go through each booth, I would say probably the one thing that would be worth bringing is a monopod. The gentleman that had the FX9 on a rig was on a monopod. That would be probably the easiest thing to use there. Would be a monopod as far as carrying anything substantial down around. So even if it's on a gimbal, I would say be able to screw the monopod to it, or wear it on a string around you and put it on the ground if you needed to take a rake. But carrying around the backpack all day definitely was wear and tear on your body, and I don't, it weighs a lot. It definitely weighs you down and tires you out. Let's see. Happy Clam says, "Yep, that's why I like my X1 and a small gimbal so much in good light with the thermos and everything. It adds up." Yes, the weight definitely matters when you start walking around all day. Um, that I did go into the Panasonic booth and they had the Lumexes on display, some tangible ones. We didn't wait in line to do any of that stuff, but let's see here. That was about, I think, the only other camera thing I found was the Lumix, and it was in the very back corner of the Panasonic booth. Panasonic was there to showcase home, AI, and health. That's what they were there, and showing new technologies for that stuff. But here's the booth with some lenses for Lumix. They had, that's all I filmed. It was like not really worth filming. You got these, come on, these guys in the background over here. Newer series of color stuff they had back there sitting there, the lenses, and then right to the left was the counter with like 3 different rig outs you could play with stuff if you wanted to. Let's see here. Yeah. I don't think I have much else, man. That's about it. So I'll definitely learned a lot, and CES was awesome. I mean, it was a different experience. I wish there was more tangible products. I like technology. I like seeing stuff. Like it's one thing to see it in the catalog online, but actually see it physically in person. I did get to handhold an A1 Mark II with a 28-70 f2 lens on it. That thing's a tank. It was it's a massive lens, I'll tell you what, and it looks good. I mean, straight out of the camera shots, we at dinner. We one of the oh, God, I can't get his name right because I need to see it spelled again. I think. Let me see if I can find him real quick. Let me see here. Yeah. Anyways, it's another one of the Sony guys that goes on live for the camera stuff. He was there, had that A1 Mark II and the 28-70 f2 in the bag, and we brought it out for dinner to get a picture, of course. And he had the flash. We did a little photo shoot there at the dinner table. But yeah, that was a blast. But getting to hold that camera and that lens is chunky, man. I thought the 85 was big. That 28-70 is something else. It really is. But yeah, I mean that's about all I got, man. It was a good time. I do have a video plan. I'll be getting out here pretty soon on these headphones. These are the WH-1000XM Mark IVs. Pretty dang phenomenal headphones, if you ask me. And I actually filmed on the plane and did a little bit of work on the plane because the plane was light on people. So I actually got some real world tests on the plane with it. Let's see. Is it worth the extra size for the extra stop of light from 24-70 to 8? If you're professional, yes. If you have a 28-70 f2.8 G master lens, I would say yes, it's worth it. Do you really need it? Probably not. But there's a lot of applications I think where that f2 would be beneficial in low light. any of the, if you're a working professional, I'd say it's worth it. Every advantage you can get as a professional is money in your pocket, I think. So I think it's would be advisable to say yes, it's worth it. Is it worth it as a hobbyist or just a guy that go and help out friends on the weekend? No, it's not. Um, Unless you just like to geek out over camera gear and have some of the best stuff, then great. But um, it's a lot of lens. It's all there, and it's a nice piece of glass up front, but there's a lot of weight and a lot of lens to carry. I don't know if you've been around the 70 to 200 f4, the original one. It's a fairly small, compact lens for what it is. It's not as big and grand as some of the G Masters are, or like the 100 400. And the 7870 is much larger than it was, I think, especially in the roundness. Of course, I think it doesn't have I think it's 82 and 95 millimeter front filter thread or something crazy like that. Can't remember. Um, that's my opinion on that. What time is it right now? 10:30. An hour and a half. Hour and a half. We got a good run going, guys. Got good audience right now. That's good. Don't mind me. I got some M&Ms. Shot. There we go. Matthew, you still here? Matthew had asked if we could go through the rundown of that video for my intro. Let's just play that up and see what we got. If I can find it first of all. I'm on hard drive. It's on my big 14 terabyte backup. Right. There it is. Let's make that big. Hide this down here. All right. So most of it was filmed on the anamorphic lenses on the FX30. So that's the first little bit of news about that. I definitely like working with the anamorphic lenses, but I did it half-assed, and I would say you definitely need to have a monitor to check focus on, because as we all know, even as good as the FX30 screen is compared to the other cameras out there, it is still weak in spots. So here is the intro to my last YouTube video. That anamorphic pop there in the light. And of course, got to fall asleep watching the movie. This way, fall asleep. All right, so breakdown of what I did. Let's see. So you might have noticed this is all gimbal shot on the RS2 gimbal with the FX30, and I want to say most of the shots were filmed on the Oh, here. I don't remember which one's which. I think it's the bigger one. Yeah, it is uh the 24 Sue-Ray anamorphic lens. So that's what that was shot on. The I'm pretty sure most all of it was shot on the 24. I know I pulled out the 50 for a couple shots sitting there looking at the TV. I think um, the tighter ones we'll scan through here and see. But yeah, gimbal shot. This is our home living room. It's a 75-inch on the wall. So a lot of the comments in my video were about the TV being tilted. It is up a little high. I am not one that loves having TVs up high and angled down. I don't get that effect so much on this, and I can see where a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, it's near the ceiling. It's way up tall." That's a 75-inch television in there, and the video does not portray that very well right here. This is a big television. Um, I wouldn't want to go much bigger than 75-inch. I don't think. The I you know I know that they're out there, the 85s, and I've been tempted, but my wife's got it set up really nice with the way that we've got this modular kind of entertainment stand going. That's and no equipment on it. There's zero equipment out here other than the TV on the wall and the speakers on the wall. So in this video, you'll see right here in the corner, there's a PS5 sitting there. That is not the one in the closet going to this television. That's going to another one. I have. Let me find it. Oh, I won't scan. Oh, hard drive's booting up. Come on, hard drive. Come on. All right, there we go. See, I've got. Yep, there it is, right there. So we've got a 55-inch off to the right there on the fireplace. That's the XBR 55. I think it's a J950, I believe, or a G950. I can't remember exactly. And then this is a 90CH XBR 7590CH on the main display. So the 75 fits the room really well. It really does. Um, I've got some colored lights behind it that just play constantly. They're just some IKEA lights, LED lights that I bought early on. They've been really good. Have worked for years and years, just rotating light all day long. So that's where you'll see it change color. But the bottom of the TV is about probably 40 inches from the floor. So it's a big TV set. And yeah, it adds up on the vertical half. But when you're leaned back in the chair, head rested, it's at a perfect angle. So it looks good for that. Let's see here. Remote. Okay, so you may have noticed that the subs are in tune to the beat of the music. And I did that purposefully full. Purposely full? I don't know. How do you say that? When it comes on, the sub hits. So I'm playing that music track across the theater speakers. And I bumped up, of course, I had to crank the sub all the way up to really make it move. But that's how I got that effect. So I'd record the entire song with the speaker playing, hitting to the music, and then I just brought up all the clips into DaVinci Resolve. I did a waveform matchup on them. It matched the song up to the waveforms of what the cameras recorded when it was playing. Got them all synced in, and just cut out the ones I wanted to use. So that's how I did that shot with the sub running. So that's actually, you're seeing the actual beat of the music from that subwoofer. Same thing with the wall speaker here. I didn't get a good shot of the wall speakers. It was getting late by the time I pulled the grill off. But these are 8-inch two-way Polk Audio RC85Is. I've got 6 of them in the room. So I got the 2 left, rights. I have left and right sides, and those are the only ones that are kind of offset because they have the right side is way lower than the other side, where it matches the left and right channels. It's just because of the window and firewall placement or the fire brick. And then on the back, up a little slightly elevated, are our rear surrounds, and then the center channel. Let's see, scan up here. I didn't really get it the shot anywhere. The center channel is right here, and originally the TV was the 65 or the 65 930C, which was what I'm watching you guys on right now, and my lives. It's my main monitor for in here in the studio. If you've seen my studio, you've seen that 930C in it. But the I had to put the speaker vertically there. It's supposed to be horizontal with two main drivers and a tweeter in the middle, and because that had to be centered on the wall, when I poked a hole in that wall to inspect it, the main water drain is like right here going down from the upstairs down, down into the ground, and it didn't leave room for this thing to sit horizontally right here under the TV. So I I ended up positioning it up a little bit. I could have dropped it down a little bit more, but I wanted it up a little bit higher to get that more essential sound. I thought about buying two of them and running them up in the top left and right corners because I had room to position them there, but and fire them behind the TV. I didn't know how that would work, so this one was firing. Basically, get one wood for straight view and the horn tweeters up in here. Uh, and I don't have a problem with center channel audio. If you're a big audiophile, you probably think it's disgusting, but I don't have a problem with it myself personally. It's plenty loud in there. It sounds amazing when you get Atmos and 360 reality on that AN1000 going. It sounds really, really good. Top Gun is, of course, an amazing sound effect film, so it was really good for that. So it's kind of somewhat hidden behind the TV there, but it's sitting there just behind it. Um, the whole thing was shot in 24p, and I did that solely instead of doing slow motion. Was because I wanted the TV playing the movie, so I did shoot everything in 24p and just edit it together. That was one thing uh, that I wanted to do slow motion on, was for that, and I thought about doing slow motion on the speakers, but it worked out. I think it came out well. I know Matthew said he really liked it when it came out, and it was a nice night. Thank you for asking about it in the live. I'd be more than happy to go over through anything I do. I'll be more than happy to share with you. So there's the AN1000. There's the closet that all this stuff sits in. Come on back a little bit more. So, the story is behind it that, when we moved into this house, I'd always had ambitions of running a hidden system in my last house. And I had at least a 30-foot run to do it from a closet. And I thought, man, I could have access to the attic to do it all. It's just a lot of work. And I just never did it. I'm glad I didn't do it because we were in that house very long before we moved to this house. And sitting there, it just dawned on me, just sitting in the living room right after we moved in, that there's a closet right there on the other side of the wall. I literally poke a hole through the wall and I'm at the TV. So that's what we did. I bought all the speakers and the stuff. I hit all in-wall speakers. I put the subwoofer in the wall. I did everything right there in the wall. And I put a nice panel in the closet for the sound. So if I ever take my stuff, somebody can just wire into the speakers, no problem. And it works really well. I've got internet drop in that closet, so I've got my my modem network in there, so everything's networked. I've got a good branch off of that closet to the rest of the house, all pretty well accessible. So all that's done. It works really well. I like it. But yeah, if you have any other questions, just let me know. That's about all I can think of to go through on it. I can't think of anything else. I don't want to play it, but let me stop this. Find the right mouse cursor I'm chasing. Screen, okay. Have glasses. I still haven't seen Top Gun, and I was an electrician's mate in VF 124 back in 1986. Should watch it sometime. So you haven't seen the original Top Gun either, or you haven't seen either one? VF 124. What was that? Let me take a look at that. Oh, that is the F-14 itself. Electrician's mate. That's nice, man. Awesome stuff. I've got. I don't know what it's out of, but I've got some. I got some stuff out of one of the jets. It was the Top Gun Squadron. Okay. Were you ever? Well, 86. They weren't in Fallon in 86, were they? Are they? Or were they? I guess where were you stationed? If you don't mind me asking. Yeah, anything I ask you guys personally, you don't have to answer. But I just, I used to live out of Reno, and we go out to Fallon, and you go out into the desert on Highway 50 and watch those. I think I never saw an F-14 fly, so I remember the F-18s flying out there, and they do these training runs. Miramar, okay. Well, it's kind of a cult classic, man. I mean, I'm sure you'll see lots of stuff that's very movie oriented in it if you're somewhat familiar with the aircraft. We have an F-14 here locally on display, and it's at the RAF Museum. I don't think it's flyable, but I'm sure it was when it was brought in. But it's just been sitting. It's inside at least, but it's amazing. Well, the first time I saw an F-14, what blew me away was how massive that plane is, and that the thing flies with the payloads it has. Um, any jet, the F-18 is the same way. It's just like how massive the elevators are with the one central pin like holding them on. Like how did this even hold up to the forces that are involved with that? So yeah, I mean it's a cult classic film. I'd say it's worth the watch. Top Gun Maverick, the one I kind of showcased here in my theater. It was a very entertaining movie. uh, and if you like Sony products, and Sony's the one that filmed that movie basically with their smaller cameras. Um, speaking to some of the reps about it, past experience with Sony, they are telling us that the Navy gave them two F-18s with the flight crews for the filmmaking, and all the shots of the pilots and the actors, were in the back seat of an F-18 doing their filming. Now, I know Tom Cruise is a pilot. The P-51 featured in um, Top Gun Maverick is his personal P-51 Mustang that he's flying, and they have a flight sequence with it in the movie that was really good. Um, but the I don't know on that movie if they actually flew the F-14 or not. I don't think they probably did. Maybe they did have a copy that flew for the movie. I'll have to research that one and find out because the footage of it's pretty dang good. But all the in cockpit flight and a lot of the flying you see in the movie is all real. They did not want to CG any of it, and I think that's what makes the movie so good. Is the actors were in the back seat of these F-18s. They had to do all the flight training, and I know Tom Cruise spent a lot of time with them working and trying to develop them to handle the G forces and how to work the cameras. And they had to go up and film themselves, say all their lines, and run all the cameras. And there's camera module they put in these. I don't know if you watch the behind the scenes that there's a big 6 Venice cameras that are all custom made for the cockpit that were shrunk down and then tethered to recording devices. And like I think one of the bay areas of the jet, they put all the recording devices in, and um, they had to sit there and record everything, and they had 6 different angles they could shoot from these cameras when they're recording. I think it was the call sign Payback in the movie that the actor he blacks out, and they have it in the film. Well, it's a real blackout. He really did black out in the back seat of that thing, and that was his real blackout of that they used in the movie. So I think a lot of it's real in that regard. But I know how the movie industry is and how like, that's not real, or them taking off where they took off from the F-14 is probably of course fake as heck. But they had a lot of stuff like that in there, and then it's entertaining to say the least. Um, Definitely worth watching the first one before you get into the second one. There's some little Easter eggs in there. There's a huge tie back to the characters in the first one to the second one that is very important. So I won't give any spoilers away with that, but definitely worth the watch. My ears are still ringing. They are loud with the rear burners. I can only imagine, man. I love that kind of stuff. All right, let me. Okay, that's not being shared. Let me shut this down. All right, what else you guys got? You got any other questions? Hit me up in the comments, guys. I know. Oh, one of the other cool facts about I was going to say on those cameras is they had to be certified with the ejection seat. So originally they were mounted, they didn't have the clearance on the ejection seat, so they had to move it all and then pray and hope that it would have the clearance. If should they have to actually to eject, their legs wouldn't hit that camera system. And I think they got it. That was one of the things they told us about. Um, and guys, I think I'm about ready to wrap this thing up. It's almost 2 hours. That's a good show, you guys. Appreciate it. Let's see. Any other questions? Come at me with me. I'm running out of steam here. What I can think about. Future plans with the projects right now. I've got nothing. No, I got the headphone video partially filmed. Filmed that on the airplane. Had one whole segment of me talking to the camera um, in the waiting area for the plane, and I don't know if I didn't hit record or I lost that file, but it doesn't exist. So I'll have to reshoot that one. Probably just here in the studio, but we did get some good footage up on the plane, so that was cool. And then I've got a video plan to showcase my PlayStation wall and that gaming setup downstairs. I've changed it, so I'll have a video coming soon for that showcase. I've got to film that still. Let's see, what else do I got planned in the works? I have a lot. I have a notepad full of video ideas and what I need to do. I just need to do them. The studio is currently pretty much a disaster. I've got stuff everywhere, but I've been putting a lot of work into the studio to make it easier to set up and film. So I've got a new right here. A new light bracket. I got my small rig light and softbox hanging up here for me to do these lives on. That makes it really easy. And then I've got I got this wall bracket. You can't really quite see it up there above the Living Giant sign right here, and it goes over. It's a telescoping wall bracket for my softbox and light that will help me film from different locations in the studio here. But I've got so much little things that I keep moving back and forth to clean up areas that I just need to find a home for and put away. So I'm still really working on getting that kind of dialed in and stuff put out or taken out or put up on the walls. I've got shelves now. I got more display stuff like put up. Um, I've got a spot for a TV over there. If Sony will ever send me a new Bravia 9 to test out, I got a spot for it. But yeah, I don't I don't really have much else. I mean, I've got some video older stuff in the works that I want to put out to you guys. I just need to sit down and do time. Oh, I got the wall brackets. I got ceiling brackets put up for overhead rigs. So my overhead shots will be a lot cleaner in the future videos now. That's another one I did. So I've got my my arm clamps that hold the cameras. Those will be. I need to buy some stouter ones, but those are, yeah. I've got one that'll work well enough right now. And then let's see. We've got one of them Amazon return stores in town now. I've bought a ton of stuff. There's the Cerro Vega lanyard. I've got this stuff I found for $6. It's all vacuum packed, but I gotta get this on the ceilings. That should clean up the audio in this room because I still feel there's an echo in my recordings. So I want to hopefully put that up in the ceiling and help deaden out that sound a little bit, and flatten out this room. Other than that, I don't have much else, guys. I appreciate y'all sticking in to the end here. With that, I think I'm going to shut it down. Give you guys a couple minutes. If you got any last questions to throw in here, let me know what you got. And oh yes, always hit the like and subscribe if you haven't. I mean, the like helps a lot, guys. If you come in, just stop by for a minute to say hi, hit that like button. That's so important to get that like put in there. That helps so much. So, all right, guys. I think that's it. So with that, good night. Good night. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. And we'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Hit that like. And we got one more popped in. It looks like if those are real numbers, guys, you guys did awesome tonight. We're going to see the analytics on the time, but we got some numbers tonight. That's what we need. Numbers and people. Tell your friends. Just to come shoot shit with me. We got Sony stuff to talk about. All right. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you in the street.